Konnichiwa. Sayonara.
Have a good one, boss man. All right, so real Hanzo. Yeah, so one of the interesting things that I'm not sure if everyone who's aware of that looked at the decks, but so actually Green Hanzo has a lot of power coming in. So Kevin, you want to tell us what the big combo of Green Hanzo is?
Well, the big combo is the Huge Toad and Jiraiya combo. So you play a Huge Toad turn 1, and you play Jiraiya. If you're on the play, you can use Energize to play Jiraiya turn 2. And then turn 3, you can attack for 4,000 damage. If you play, wait, I'm sorry. So explain what the, okay.
Yeah, so hold on. We
right.
have the pictures up here.
All right.
So kind of go through. So essentially, Huge Toad is a 4/4 for 1 will, which in this game is pretty good for a 1
pretty standard. Yeah, it's standard.
Like in the past in Rhea Cluster, we had 2 2s and 3 3s. This tends to be more of a beater. But so in his effect is when he dies, it gives -400, which is more of a combat trick defensively.
Right.
But the trick in there lies, as Kevin mentioned, Jiraiya. So now, Kevin, what does Jiraiya do?
So when he enters the field, he puts a Huge Toad into play.
Some kind of toad.
Some kind of toad. And then whenever you play a rune, all Huge Toads you have gain 4/4. And using this, if you play 4 runes in the same turn, and you have 2 toads out, you can swing for 4,000 damage in a single turn.
Yep. And so a big part of the combo here is essentially using low cost or free cost from the rune deck runes, such as Sandstorm, using the Sealing Scroll, which is Hanzo's master rune, and then combining that with runes that prevent blocking or enable you to really push through for damage. You can swing through, and if Jiraiya is able to attack as well, you're swinging upwards of 47,000 damage. So that's not 47,000, 4,700. So there is quite a bit of damage here. Do we know what Hanzo is going to be playing against? Not yet. Okay. So going along with that, there's obviously Hanzo's master rune.
Right.
Very contentious point. So 0 cost, cancel any rune. What do you think about that?
Well, it's Force of Wind, so obviously they had to print a 0 cost counter.
Yep, solid. Now, realistically, do you think... So Severing Winds is often referred to as a 0 cost counterspell.
Right.
Now, obviously, it has a printed cost of 4. But do you think that the ability to only target runes is enough of a balancing act?
Green red versus green black Hanzo.
Oh wow, we have 2 Hanzos.
So all right, back to the conversation in a second, but we just got the... wait, hold on. Yes, I love this deck. So green-red Hanzo is going to be playing against green-black Hanzo. Yes, so...
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, so all right.
Right, so what were we talking about? Okay, so the counterspells.
Yeah.
The counterspells.
So, what is your thoughts on... They look having too much fun. Got to make sure I go next year. Yes. So, if anyone doesn't know, I'll just let you guys know. So, Kevin is actually my real-life buddy. We both live in Japan, and so we met a couple years back, and he's one of the guys at Locals. He actually... second place. Second place with IU in Japan. Probably a lot of you guys saw his deck list. He did a really nice job. He was a little bit tired and missed out on lethal, and I don't judge him for it.
I missed the easiest lethal.
So, but he's an excellent player, and so anyways. But going back to the counterspells.
Okay, so 0 cost counterspell is Hanzo's master rune. Fair. In New Frontiers, your opponent might not always have runes to counter. So I think it is a little bit fair in that regard. That said, like there are some chant runes that are worth countering, or that are worth running in game start.
You're fine.
There's some chant runes that are worth running in just standard non-divinity decks.
Yep.
But overall, I don't think Hanzo is going to be a top contender in New Frontiers.
I think right away we're not going to see that, only because I think there's a lot of very powerful Rhea Cluster rulers as well. I think that he does have access to some powerful combinations like Spirit Stone and sacrificing to draw cards and then returning Spirit Stones, excuse me.
And then he has Force Meditation to bring back the stones.
Yes. So I think those are very real. So I think that is a possibility, but it really depends on where the format goes. If discard is very strong, I actually think that's a great way if you're in green and you want to keep card advantage. So, all right, guys, here we are. We're looking at the match. We have, I'm going to try, this is Zimon Chan and...
Rochi Zing.
Yeah, all right, Rochi.
I'm sorry.
So I apologize, guys. We're going to do the best to pronounce the names as best we can. We have green-red on the left. We have green-black on the right. And now we are rolling... Oh, wow, 11. Nice, solid. Now, what do you think for this? In this kind of match where you're going to have counterspells, but you're also both threatening lethal quickly,
Right.
do you think you want to go first or go second? Like, would you like to draw or would you like the energize?
That's a good question because I think you want to go second, or I think you want to go second in this matchup just because the Jiraiya combo. But when you consider that the fact that the combo kind of falls apart with just one block,
Yeah.
You really, I don't know.
So that's, and I think actually it's interesting here. The red-green Hanzo here, Zimon, he's running the Jiraiya Toad combo. However, Ryoichi is not playing that. He's actually playing a more black-based deck, and so he's running like Skeleton Horde, Vlad, Azazel, the more typical black cards. And so I'm interested to see. So all right, we are getting started. It looks like, all right, so green-red Hanzo actually has the energize. So this could be what we talked about. He could go turn one Toad into Jiraiya. So all right.
Hexland asked a question. Kevin, do you think Ayu has potential this new meta? Scarlet's Agony is going to be really strong, but because dual stones are rotating out of New Frontiers, I think green will be less common, and so I think Ayu is still a really strong contender in the New Frontiers meta.
So all right. So we play a Chukonu, and it is instantly met with a kill spell from Ryuichi. Ruochi. Sorry. Rochi. I want to pronounce it Japanese, but so Rochi will too. And so then, all right, he plays Koga edition. So that lets you at instant speed put a resonator under it, essentially remove it from the game, and then for 2 green will you can return it to the field. And the real power of that comes in cards like Jubei and Belial and some of your larger casting cost cards. So you get to abuse the enter effects. Now over here we have, I believe that is
Magician of Molding.
Okay, Magician of Molding, and that is every rune he activates does 200 more damage.
Yes, even from hand.
Gotcha. So that actually has a lot of power.
Yes.
If it can stay on board.
I believe both players have hit both of their main colors, which is a good thing. Yes, that doesn't happen very often. So
all right, so we're playing the cat. Oh man, I did not expect. It's the 3/3 cat that leaves behind a cat ninja. Excuse me, that leaves behind another. All right, Magician of Molding, cat, ninja scout. So, and in case, so this is.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Now, so we see. All right, swinging in for 6 now.
I think he's gonna
block it.
Okay.
All right. Now, is there a combat trick here? Because we see he has the magic boomerang in hand.
I don't think he can cast it though. So.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, look at those tokens.
So he just doesn't want to take the 6 damage. Okay,
that's fair.
That's fair.
And then we have double red here. Another
Magician of Molding.
And they do stack in this game, so that means he's giving minus.
So he didn't have a combat trick. My bad. Yes.
So all right, I think that's important to actually get rid of that, because once you start getting that plus 400 damage on every rune you play, that can add up very quickly. So all right, one of the Magician's Molding is out, and let's see, Ryuichi's gonna. Wow, he has beautiful color distribution here with this. I'm jealous.
Is he playing Vlad with the cat? Let me
Yes,
check.
he is.
Is he? Okay.
Yes. So the Ryuichi over here on the green blacklist is playing a much more typical like black resonator base, where with Belial, Vlad, Azazel, Shemhaza, and then the Jubei kind of at the top of the curve for the green colors. Ooh, so
That is. Let me check real quick. That is Lemuria of the Magic Boomerang.
Okay, and so because he does not have any runes revealed right now, it's going to come in with 2. And what's kind of cool is green tends in this set to be the jack of all trades, master of none. And even though it might not appear 3-drop 0/8, that's kind of lame. But then when you realize it's actually a 10/8 or a removal spell.
Conditionally.
Conditionally, and with Magic Boomerang is where you actually can get value on it because you can return it to hand, and then it comes back with 4 counters mid to late game as well. So, all right, here we go. We have Jiraiya, and so the cat.
So there's no special stones for Jiraiya to hit. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Samurai.
Yep.
Jubei.
So. And let's just take a look here at so something really interesting is the green-red Hanzo is not running any special stones. So Jubei is not going to be able to pick apart the stone base. However, he still can enter and do 1,200 damage to just kill anything. Excuse me. And all right, so Giant Toad is in play. Now the question is, do you force the Lemuria to activate to kill the Jiraiya on your recovery, or excuse me, on your untap when you get to your turn, or do you just swing in and use it to pump 1,000 and maybe go in for damage? So one other interesting thing is that Ryuichi keeps leaving up the Koga, so that if for whatever chance there comes out a damage-based rune or any kind of destruction, he has the save open to...
Which red definitely will have.
Yes, easily. All right, so 5 will. Now we're getting to the point where there's some very powerful cards that can be cast. The green-black Hanzo, it looks like he's going to be activating the destroy target creature with that ability. And he's going to take out Jiraiya, so that answers that question. As it turns out, you probably shouldn't let a card that can OTK you stay on the board too long. Now, the question is he going... He
has the...
barrier.
Barrier card.
And...
What is it?
Hold on.
Whirlwind Technique.
Very good. So for 1 green will, he can give a J Resonator barrier until end of turn, and it's also going to pump his Toad too. So now his Toad is an 8/8 blocker that could trade in. Oh, not that Lemuria is going to be attacking, I think, this turn, but there's no way that anything's going in for damage this turn. I'm actually curious to see if he's going to consider...
And this is Shadow Step, so he's going to give...
400 damage, I believe.
Wait.
Is it? This might be
No, this
chasing.
is a different one. What is this card?
This is the... Nope. Hold on, guys.
How was it?
That's the shuriken one.
How did he order these?
Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I can't remember. I know what the card does. I can't think of the name of it. Oh, you know what? It looks like it slipped out of the thing.
It's on D4 right there. No, that's a different one. So, just explain what that does.
Yeah, so
us.
what that does, anyways, is it's... Thank you.
The Fuma Shuriken.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, that's not it. It is. You're right. It is Fuma Shuriken. It is the 400 damage and a target resonator cannot attack or block, and so he did it in response to the pump, so that he could kill the Toad. And so now something got minus 400, but I don't think there was anything that Ryuichi was going to swing with this turn. So he does play another Toad. All right. Now I'm actually curious to see if he's going to at some point remove the. Lemuria, I think. What? Sorry, I forgot.
So
Lemuria. To recharge the counters.
Right.
So
I'd assume that's the plan here.
Yeah, and if he can get one more, if he can get one more wind rune revealed, then when it comes in, it'll have 4 counters, which
Right.
will then give it a lot more flexibility. But he might be kind of saving his will. Oh, we see him activate. Let's see here. There we go.
Yeah, so there he goes, just like you said.
Yep. So magic boomerang. Okay.
Targeting the toad, I assume.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, he wants to try and get rid of it. And now he could play.
His Jiraiya is still in place, so he can pump it in response, but
Yeah. Yeah.
will he?
I don't know if that's. In your opinion, would you spend the will to save it?
I mean, it depends what you have in hand.
True. And it looks like he's got at least a.
Yeah, he has
What's it?
some-
Scalding breath? At least
Right.
one. But there's been no damage actually dealt, and we're on turn 6 now. So it's pretty impressive that. All right. We are. All right. So
Look
now
of
he's.
corruption.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting turn. We're going to get a lot of information. Wow. We just got a peek at Ryuichi's hand, and it is all life-severing blades, I think.
Ooh.
So now I think Zimon here is deciding if he wants to burn a face or just let him discard. So the toad, the counterspell, and the
So that is a chain bind.
yes.
Oh, abandoned VP called it.
So chainbind, your opponents cannot block until end of turn, and the whole kind of trick to it is you chainbind, it not only activates Jiraiya to pump, but it makes it so that no one's stopping your toads.
Right.
And just kind of forcing the damage through. Now, I would guess, given the board state, that I don't know. What would you go for? I might go for the counterspell because he has the 5 will, so even to threaten the ability.
I think at this point you go for the counterspell. The game's not going to be decided by burn, and I don't think the chain bind does anything at this point.
Yeah.
And I think black green has enough control or has enough removal to just remove a card that's coming through.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a pretty standard play here. The counterspell is the most dangerous card to Ryoichi's plan, and as we can see in his deck list here, he's got a lot of heavy hitters to come, and he's got kill spells in his hand, so he's going to be able to return the Lemuria only with 2 counters now, but he's going to have a removal spell available to him without spending any cards in his hand. And from there, we'll see he also has 1,000 attack on block if he
Right.
so chooses as well. So, all right. So it's actually pretty impressive that with 2 Hanzo decks, they're not really using their rune decks very much. So it's kind of cool that we've seen some decks that they go heavy and try to flip over very quickly, but I think we've seen that's not really optimal now.
Yeah, I think you want to use your rune deck as a limited resource, because eventually, like, if you go into top deck mode, the one who has more runes available usually wins the game.
Yeah. And so we see here out of Zimon's rune deck, we see Sandstorm, which is going to do 400 damage because of the Magician of Molding, doing 400 damage to all his resonators. So the, excuse me, the Lemuria has 400 damage on it. Interesting that he wouldn't try to... Okay, so he can choose to block, trading, should he...
It
Yep.
looks like he's going to try and trade.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
That's fair. And I think Jiraiya is one of the biggest threats that Zimon has in his deck because
Right.
it's pretty much a combo deck, I would
Yeah.
say.
I mean,
Like-
what else does he have here?
For Zimon is over here. He has the Jiraiya huge toad combo, and then the rest of it is really support.
It's just a
around
lot of
that.
removal.
Yep, to push that damage through. So as this game goes along, I would expect we might see either a value judgment at some point with Hanzo himself,
Right.
or we could see him kind of just flooding the board as much as he can with some of these. Yep.
Oh, it looks like we're about to see that here, yeah.
Hey,
So what do you flip back?
I would go maybe with
Okay.
I think that's the barrier, correct?
Because he's going to use removal eventually. Okay.
Yeah. And at the very least, it gives you protection again from something. And
Right.
all that Zimone have seen so far is some kind of whatever resonators plus a Lemuria. And giving something barrier is a great way to waste counters
Absolutely.
and waste will. So he might look at that as a huge value play. So, all right, we're getting into green here. All right, we got another cat. So, blocker. I don't think you use removal on that, obviously, just because in this game that while it might be nice to push through damage on the attack, it's not worth just letting it make a token. And as a 300, there's no way it's living. So.
Do you have a question? Can you sideboard runes? You cannot sideboard runes.
You can sideboard Rune Chance into your main deck.
So,
Into your main deck, yes, but you can't change your rune deck.
correct. And we've discussed earlier in the stream that's the reason is because that otherwise it would be hard to enforce when you're allowed to change rulers. So Shahrazad had an extra deck and it could be sideboarded between, but the trick was there. She was banned from sideboards. Whereas rune deck rulers are able to be sideboarded, but you may not change the rune deck as to prevent people from having 20 card access in the sideboard. So, all right. So we play the Magician of Molding here, it looks like. And then we've done 700 damage. Oh, so I believe our life counter might be off slightly. I think that was 700 damage that went to face. Or it might have been 900, excuse me.
Oh, we played after the Magician of Molding. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was 900.
All right, so we have our cat token dying. I apologize, guys. Having...
But another one comes back.
Yep. Give me 1 second, guys. I just have to go blow my nose real quick. So.
All right, so another whirlwind technique to give barrier. And it looks like he's going to use a second life-severing blade just to finish it off. And it looks like he's going to play a rune. What is this one?
Oh, they lose.
Okay, so Sealing Scroll? I can't see it because of the glare. Oh, Raft Downstream. Okay. So Raft Downstream lets him look at the top 4 cards of his deck, and then choose 2 win chance and put the rest on the bottom of his deck.
All right, I'm back. So what'd we miss?
So we saw
And
there's Hanzo Judgment, yeah.
All right, so Hanzo versus Hanzo. All right, there's a bunch of big Fuma shurikens getting thrown around. Rapid fire me, best card me. Yeah. Well done, well done. So something interesting here is that there's not a lot of great green cards that interact with J rulers. And so you can give protection and whatnot, but
Right.
there's not a lot of, like, I have a feeling that those Hanzos are going to be crashing into each other. So let's see here. All right, we still got a lot of burn. Something to keep in mind is that Zimone might just try and go for kind of lethal by presenting enough burn to see he's with these Magician of Moldings. That's 900 damage he can just throw at Ryuichi's face. Yeah.
Quickly, yeah.
And with the ability to push through damage, I mean, all he needs is a turn where he can get rid of the blocker, push through the damage, and that could be the last 1,000 he needs.
Right.
All right, so...
I mean, it's hard to believe this is turn 8 when it's only when only 900 points of damage have been done.
Pushed through, yeah, absolutely. Now, all right, we see, all right, debating
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna play. Is he
900
yes.
damage to face.
It looks like he's burning face.
Yep. So putting him at 22.
Oh, it's Vrana.
Jeff, this is Civilon. We ran our standard event tonight. It's wildly popular. Players are very excited. Fantastic. Thank you, Brunhild, for the win. So yeah, something interesting. Scalding Breath is really good, even though it's not quick cast. 700 damage going anywhere. Up.
Magic Boomerang.
Magic Boomerang. Now 400 damage rather than returning anything, just to remove it, not deal with it, and.
Also back on Scalding Breath.
Yeah,
I've seen it was being played in the white red Atom C card there.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that earlier,
That was
but
pretty interesting.
oh man, that was a killer blowout.
All right, what's this coming down? Is that a?
Oh, that's a Jubei.
Ooh.
1,200 damage. She is gone. And the killer thing is, he has the combo.
Oh, he can keep on. Oh, he might. But he can't kill. Magic
There's no
stones,
magic stones for him to kill, but
he can at least
there is
control the board. Yeah.
there is no resonator that is sticking now.
So the combo we're talking about is with the Koga edition. He can keep on bouncing Jubei and just keep on getting that enter effect over and over and over.
Blast Blue intensifies. So this is going to be interesting because Jubei can trade into the J ruler, so he can trade into Hanzo.
Right.
Or he can just blink it out on the end of his turn, and then on his turn bring it back in if Z-Miln brings in any kind of resonator to try and put up. 1,000 damage is pretty rough. This is going to be tricky. And as we said, I think as the game goes on, I think it slowly fades into Ryoichi's favor. Although he is down, and one good Alpha Strike could finish this. We do know that he has the Chainbind in hand still.
Right.
So he's got 1,000 damage. He needs to find 1,200 more. He's got 700 in hand just off of the Scalding Breath there.
Did the first Scalding get Sealing Scrolled? I can't see if Sealing Scroll was used. It might have been.
I don't believe...
Is the life 31,000? Might be.
I don't believe so. Maybe.
Oh, he played Scalding 3 times. Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, here, so...
And there's the other piece of the combo on the screen right now.
Yep. So, all right, coming in for 1,000. Oh, he's gonna block with Jubei. All right.
Jubei is 1210, if I remember correctly. Right?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So he's opting not to use Koga. All right.
And I think that's fair because that gets rid of one of the only things that Jubei can't deal with.
Right.
And I see him revealing a rune here. I'm not sure what that is. It's a little bit hard to see.
Oh, he's using a Scalding Breath again.
Oh.
So, okay, so he's hitting Hanzo himself now. And it looks like he's going to respond with the Sealing Scroll, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, wait, what happened? Did he...
Oh, I think it might have been a Fuma Shuriken.
No.
No? So,
Okay,
triple black.
Triple black. What can you play with that? Okay.
Oh,
look at
Awakened.
Corruption of Awakening.
Alright. And so, I think you take Boomerang here. Well, no?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I feel like it has the most effects.
Right. Chainbind
and
doesn't do anything.
Chainbind doesn't do anything if he has no threats.
Oh, thank you. I missed that. Yeah. So Hanzo died because the Sealing Scroll was Sealing Scrolled by the other Sealing Scroll. Yeah.
Welcome to Severing Winds 0.5. But yeah, I apologize, guys. The glare on the top part of the field. It's the anime sleeves are a little bit shinier.
Yes.
So I apologize. All right, so 3-drop what? Oh, all right, Jiraiya, nice top deck. And are we?
That was a counter spell.
Oh, we're
Four
yep. All right.
It's the Song of the Fairies.
Yep. Divinity 1, solid.
Fair.
Oh, but he counters back with his own.
Ooh.
All right. Are we fighting
counter
about
war?
this?
Oh,
Yep. Yeah, we are. All right. So we're all right, man. That was counter,
That's
and
the,
skeleton horde. Just a
Yep.
sticky threat. All right, no problem there. But so both players very low on resources right now. I believe Zimon has 2 cards in hand. We have 1-drop 4/4s on turn
Yes, I believe
9.
that's Fairy of the Isle.
Yeah. It is a 4/4 flying, pay 1, draw a card, and actually right now, 4/4 flying is about the best thing we have on the field right now. This is entertaining. There's almost look at how many stones they have, and look at what the threats are in play.
Alright, so it looks like the skeleton did 4 damage there.
Yep. So Zimon is at 36.
And it looks like, yep.
Yeah, and Ryuichi's
Just
gonna go down to
trading-
18. Yep, swinging slaps. And
And another
toad.
huge toad,
All right. And it appears.
Oh, it looks like
counterspell.
Counterspell on hand.
All right,
Decides
so
not to
the-
use it.
All right,
And that's a Lemuria. All right.
now Lemuria here is actually going to be really strong.
We've only seen the Rochi's Koga edition used once so far, haven't we? Yeah.
Yep. He's not been able to really save it. All right. That's
So it comes with 4 counters.
Yep.
And it looks like he's going to be able to.
He's gonna be able to shoot down.
Yeah.
And so now he can. Zimon can sacrifice. Oh, okay. So he's gonna swing in. He's gonna pay the 1, of course.
Yeah.
Banish it. Draw a card.
There's no reason not to draw a card here.
Yep. And he does have the counterspell available. Ryuichi does, so that the huge toad can be pumped, but with Lemuria having the 4 counters, he can be. No, it doesn't matter how big he gets; he can just be killed at any point. So, and Zemo knows that, so he has to bait him into using up those counters or finding a way to get through. And remember that Toad doesn't have a natural +4. He needs the Jiraiya, which he just played.
All right, so a second Toad's going to come out. And he's looking through his graveyard. I'm guessing to count how many Toads he has left. I think we've seen 2 so far. 3rd on the field. No? Is that all of them? I guess he doesn't have a Toad left in deck.
All right, so he's used up all of his Toads. He has the 1 in play, and you know this. Yeah, of course, this is
Okay, so he's going to at least try and pump the Toad because that chain bind's just sitting in the hand, not doing anything.
Yep, and that is +400. If he lets it resolve, he does not know.
Yeah, he's just going to kill
Yeah.
Lemuria.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's game.
Okay.
All right, very good. And he knows that the majority of the threats in Zemon's deck have been killed at that point. There's almost nothing left for him to get value out of. So
at that point, the game was kind of locked because Lemuria can never be killed because he just gets bounced by the Koga edition, and then just keeps coming back with more counters, more removal. And the game's already just over at that point.
yeah, so I think that's a smart move to, at that point, take the loss there, shuffle up, sideboard effectively, and then maybe you can set yourself up. So looking at the sideboards here, I'm looking at Zemon's list, and he has Chainbind, Lemuria, Squall of the Tengu, Burial Rites in a single stroke, and the 100-Eye one. So 100-Eye one, just as a reminder, is the target J Resonator cannot block this turn.
Right, for 2 costs, and it is a 6/6.
Yeah.
So what do you expect to come in here?
Honestly, looking through this, I think Lemuria is going to be a solid play for both of them. It's solid. It's an aggro card. It also can just pump. And so, I mean, when it's not punching people in the face, it's also threatening to be a wannabe Lancelot. And I think that's fine. I don't think realistically that Zemon's going to be able to get the Toad combo off on a fellow Hanzo player just because he's going to have the Hanzo Master Rune available to him to always counter the Chainbind.
Oh, you still get the Chainbind, yes. You still get the pump off.
The
even if
pumps,
you
yes.
even if the spell gets countered.
And to be fair, being the initiate of the chain,
Right.
you're going to have generally the final say with your own master rune.
Right.
But I think that's hard pushing through. So, all right, now going over to Ryuichi, what do you think read us through the sideboard. What does he have going on?
All right, so he has 2 Squall de Tengu,
Yep.
1 Miasma de Abyss,
Mm-hmm.
1 Oborozuki,
Okay.
1 Jubei, 1 Karuda,
Yeah.
2 Kotaru, 2 Azazel,
Shemhaza.
1 Shimhaza,
Yep.
2 Belial,
Yep.
and another village of the Spirited Way Koga. So I'm guessing he's going to bring in. What do you think?
I would.
Like some of these black cards here are really good, like Azazel, Shimhaza, Belial.
And I really like a Brozuki in this matchup.
Really?
Because it takes out the toads, and he's seen that the deck is almost completely based off of the toad aggro.
Okay.
And so repeatable toad destruction, I think, is great. And plus the 8 damage flying, he's seen that Zimon has no way to block 8 damage flying in the air.
And we know Ryuichi has the sack outlets. To
Yes,
feed into
he has the Horde and the Cat Ninja to
Right.
really feed that. So
What I am noticing though is that I don't think Zimon can actually deal with Karuda because
No.
it's a flying with barrier.
Yep.
There's nothing in his deck that can deal with it.
if Karuda lands, so I think Karuda is going to come in as well, and I
Right.
don't think he saw enough of the Fallen Angel package to justify
Right.
bringing in Squall of the Tengu. So Squall of the Tengu being green's answer to flying. So for 3 cost, green 1, I believe.
Yes.
It is destroy all flying resonators. And so actually one of the best ways to deal with Karuda, it has Karuda in the artwork. So
She is her best counter.
yeah, as it turns out, sometimes your best answer is yourself. We try not to do that too much, but all right, so let's see. Zimon takes first. All right, so hits the redstone and passes right away. All right. So let's see here. What do you start? Yeah. So both of them hitting kind of their secondary colors first, and
Yeah.
I don't think you really want to go too heavy. So I'm gonna guess this has got to be Magician of Molding off the
Yeah.
start. Yeah, absolutely. And this is very powerful too because again, Sandstorm gets pumped up to 4 damage, which is actually quite big.
Looks like he's gonna play a rune. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Guma Shuriken,
Yep.
all right.
400 damage, can't block, and so now recover.
I think I saw a magic boomerang in his hand.
I did
He's
as
just-
well. Yeah, I think he's getting
There it
400
is.
more damage. And so while that might seem like a 2-for-1 hurting Ryuichi, the fact that it's putting a green rune face up, which then is going to allow him to on
Right.
next turn potentially have a Lemuria coming in with 4 counters rather than 2, and keeping the rune damage spells down on Zimon's side, because we've seen a bunch of burn spells, and so it can be very damaging. Oh, right there, 7 damage to face. So Ryuichi's already, that would have just been putting him at 41, so he already saved himself 200 damage. 30, yes. So he goes for, was that the Master Rune?
I don't.
I think
Once
it
again,
is.
the glare. I
Yeah.
think that was a master rune
I th-
countering it.
yep. So you know
they're both
what?
at 40 still.
Yep.
Can we get a list of players on the top boards?
I do not have access to it right now. I can maybe look around when Jeremy gets back. I can maybe ask him.
Is it-
Okay, John Paul
is at table 2.
Charlie.
Charlie Demule. Alright.
So all right, there's a bunch of famous people in the top tables.
Ryan Miles.
Ryan Miles, you might have heard of him. He builds decks while he's slightly inebriated.
Aaron Miles is not at top.
All right.
Aaron Miles is not topping. Ooh.
All right. So Aaron Miles is X and 2 right now, but we'll get back to the match here. So Zombie Horde comes down. There is 2 green runes revealed, which means any Lemurias that come in are going to be strong. We have Jiraiya getting dropped right now. Jiraiya successfully lands, grabbing the toad. And so the early onslaught has been delayed a little bit. We're on turn 4 before the threats are really coming down, so.
Right. Oh, it's looking like Zimon's actually lining up his threats pretty well here.
Yeah, and okay.
Oh, okay, so Chu Konu
Chukonu.
soldier.
Yep. And so Chukonu has the ability to sacrifice and do, I believe, 300 damage.
300 damage to any resonator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So, and is a 3/3 himself. So actually can do 6 damage if he gets in. So.
All right. So it looks like Ryuichi is having a little bit of a problem here. He has 2 life-severing blades in hand, but only 1 black source, and I don't think he's going to want to pay 3 to activate, or he's going to pay 3 to hardcast it.
No, and so he has the 4 will remove a resonator from the game. The name Spirited Away.
Right.
Aptly referencing a lovely movie. But I don't know if he can really justify paying that much will for these low-cost threats. You don't generally want to pay answers that cost 3 times the card they're answering.
He's paying 5.
Oh, Jubei. All right,
okay,
Jubei's in
that's
play.
one way out, yeah.
And kill the Jiraiya. Yep, 1,200 damage to Jiraiya. And he has...
Oh, we might see... No, he's tapped out. I don't think he can actually whirlwind technique here.
No.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jubei down, and then he's going to go in for the direct attack. Now, this is interesting because normally you would easily just banish this and draw a card. I think this time he's going to trade.
Oh, I thought he was going to block with the Chu soldier, but I guess he thinks the banish do 300 later is going to be more impactful.
Well, plus you have to remember that that he was able to trade with the skeleton, which prevents it from being sticky.
Right.
So again, we're on turn, what is this, 5 with no damage, well, barely any damage dealt to the players. So they know that controlling the board state is almost, if not absolutely, more important than actually dealing the last bits of damage here, because these decks are so powerful and can just finish the game if they're allowed to set up. So... deciding here.
It's taking a moment to think. He seems to be counting his mana.
That's fine, and we would assume he wants to make sure that with access to the rune deck, you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
And so it's very important that you take into consideration not only what you can do with your field, with your hand, but also what you can do in the rune deck. And also taking into consideration those are once per game effects for the most part. And so how to adequately use your resources to maximize the
He
kind
was
of value.
thinking of Magician of Molding, I think. Yep,
Which he
there's
does
Magician of
choose,
Molding.
yep. And now some of the green... So what's interesting here, the Chukonu will still only do 300 damage because it
it's
is a
not
resonator. But...
So he chose to keep 3 green will open, which... Okay, so he's... Okay, yeah. He's thinking of something.
I would assume we're going to see the... Is this the 400 damage to all...
This is the... what is it? Shoot 'em all me? No? What is it? Oh yeah, rapid fire me. Does 400 damage to all opponent resonators. Yep.
And then he's gonna follow that up with a magic boomerang to
Gotcha.
There you go. So the reason that killed, even though Jubei has 1,000 toughness, is because rapid fire me does 600 damage because of the Magician of Molding.
Right.
So then magic boomerang finishes it off with the 400. So he's effectively taken out Ryuichi's big threats, but Ryuichi has a hand full of answers too.
And it looks like Zimon swung in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 700 damage that went through.
The runes were activated. Oh, but the...
The resonators.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No problem.
But with Jiraiya dead, the giant toad does not get the pump, so he's going to remain as a 4/4 until he can, till Zimon can find another Jiraiya.
So Skeleton Horde, I'm going to block twice, most
Yep.
likely.
Yep. And so he's going to turn on that life-severing blade in his hand, which I assume is what he's going to go for here.
Right.
Oh, he's got, look at all
Yeah.
that.
Look at all that black removal.
Yep. And he's got one black will, so he's really got to kind of...
Yeah, there's a Tears of the Fallen in his hand, too.
So, I think it's in Ryuichi's best interest to save at least one life-severing blade for Jiraiya.
Right. It'll eventually come out.
Yeah, you know that's what Zemon's got to be looking for. And that is absolutely the most scary card in the deck because it
Right.
just puts so much power that has to be answered on board. So as long as Ryuichi has that, I think he can kind of breathe a sigh of relief that he's got a block. Okay, and
So
here
there's another Jiraiya coming out.
Jiraiya, and now I think you spend the counterspell here, and then
I
when
think you have to, just
yeah.
to deny to enter, and then the pump, yeah.
And then you still have the black will open. All right, he's going to spend potentially the master rune.
I think you do here just because your opponent is on one will and he can only kill one thing.
Yep.
And you can at least swing in with quite a bit of damage here.
And should he do that, he will miss the pump from Jiraiya because Jiraiya is not in play yet.
Right.
But,
I see what you're saying.
But are we gonna fight?
But he still has the Sandstorm and can kill
Yes,
the
yes.
Skeleton token after
Okay, so
Skeleton Horde dies. Okay, so he lets it
doesn't-
happen.
Yeah, he does not fight. I expect if there is combat here, I do think the life-severing blade is going to kill the Magician of Molding.
Right. What do you think he's holding his Sealing Scroll for?
I would guess when he tries to go for lethal, I can see he's got Magic Boomerang, and I can't say what the other card is. If that other card is another Jiraiya, then I
Right.
think that's easily what he's saving it for. Is kind of,
Yeah.
I'll one-for-one you for now, but I'm not going to fight over it when I can fight over it next turn, especially when he's not really being threatened here with a 4/4 that
Right.
is going to be playing defense. Oh, interesting.
So
He's going to
kill
give
the-
it...
Oh, before the skeleton token comes out, he's going to kill the Chinoku soldier.
Well, I think he's going to put
No.
it on
Oh,
there
my
so he
bad.
can block
Okay.
effectively.
I see.
And so
And we're gonna see
magic boomerang. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. So destroying the blocker, and so the 3 damage will go through to the player. However, he now has a greatly weakened. So a 6/6 is pretty reasonable in this game.
Right.
Like it will trade up with some like combat tricks sometimes, or it can block
usually
one
trades
cost.
with like 4 drops that are 10/10 with like 1 combat trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think now being stuck as a 3/3, it's almost just prone to falling apart. So,
Right.
all right, Ryuichi here is taking 7, I believe. No, yeah,
Yes,
7.
7.
Yep. Putting him down to 19. So
Can Ryuichi swing back in this game?
I don't think he has any swiftness resonators. I think he's gonna try and go for. He has Belial will now.
Okay. I don't think he has a Belial in hand.
No, he does have Azazel, which he is
He can pay it
going
for
to pay
2.
the 2.
That's right.
So that's a lot of value there. Now, what do you pick? Oh, okay. So Toad and the Magician of Molding.
Right.
I agree. Magician of Molding, keeping that around allows you to burn out your opponent. And when he's at this kind of life, 1900 is low enough where
Right.
2 good burn spells and you got this. So I'm curious to see where we're going to go. So he takes his turn, he draws his card, and we are now getting to... Now, the interesting thing here is Zemon's deck is very threat light, actually. But he
Yeah.
does have a lot of ways to push through damage. And one of the most important things, I think, right now is that there is... The Master Rune has been used up on Ryuichi's side, but Zemon doesn't know that Ryuichi still has a lot of kill spells in hand.
Right.
So he could just kill everything should he so choose, but I think he's going to try and wait to the last minute because now he has this 9/10 blocker. So he's going to fly over for a lot of... Oh, Judgment. All right.
All right.
I closed my mouth here for a second.
So it looks like he played Sandstorm, then Judgmented.
Getting the 400 damage because of the Magician of Molding.
Right.
And now he's debating what to flip back over.
I think he's thinking of getting back the oh no, he's getting back Sandstorm. Okay.
Sandstorm, okay, free damage. So, oh, and then he can use the Chunoku to.
I see.
Now I don't know if
He's gonna play the Sandstorm.
Sandstorm.
Again, and
Yep.
we're gonna see the Chunoku.
I would just assume,
Right.
and apparently the Sandstorm's from before.
Oh, he's Sandstorm. Okay. My
Okay.
bad.
Oh, all right. Oh, so he's gonna attempt to.
Kill-
Yep. Okay. Chasing to kill the Magician of Molding before the damage is dealt. I don't think you. Oh, giving it barrier, I assume. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that. That's a fine play. You keep your Master Rune available to you, and the damage goes through. Swing for 3. Block, alright, yep. And
Deals 3 damage.
excuse me.
So Ryochi is now on 16.
Yep. And alright. Now does he banish to kill the Azazel? Alright, yes he does. And now we're starting to get very close to the end. Of course there's a lot of great cards in Ryuichi's hand, but he's got 10 damage that there's almost nothing he can do about.
I don't think he can deal with Hanzo other than just keep blocking it.
He needs to just get some big resonators out there, because he has the Master Rune still available for anything that's not the Life-Severing Blade, which obviously doesn't affect J-Rulers. So he's got Look of Corruption, Life-Severing Blade,
Two Life-Severing Blades.
Yeah, 2 Life-Severing Blades and a counterspell, it looks like.
Right.
So I think we're going to see a Judgment here just because he has no action.
Looks like you're right.
Yep. All right. And then what does he flip? Master Rune. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
That's an easy pick. And then Look of Corruption,
Okay,
hitting the Toad. All right, that's fair. So now, while Ryuichi does have a very good hand, he is completely tapped out. He will not be responding to anything this turn other than the Master Rune he does have available to him. Would you trade your Hanzo right now? Being down that many cards to your opponent in hand, not knowing what they are?
I mean, do you really have any other option? Like, I think you just want to get the blocker out of the way, and then you can swing with your Magician of Molding.
Yep, yeah. I would agree with that. I almost think they need to trade the Hanzos, and I think they both will. And then after you get in with your Magician, you play the second Magician you have, and a J-Ruler dying.
There's another Magician of Molding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's getting to a point where if he can top deck a burn spell, he's looking pretty slick.
So he's swinging with Magician of Molding first. Oh, because he doesn't want to take the...
because he knows there's no way that's free damage, because if he was to block that, he's taking 10 and then he's in burn range. So he's taking the 3 to prevent the 10. And a very smart play, but it's also getting to a point where if he finds a burn spell right now, there's 11 damage coming at him. So this is going to be tough. This is tough. And they both have their Master Rune available to them, so whoever initiates the threat...
So we're going to see a Fuma Shuriken.
So Hanzo cannot block.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, and he can't use the... he
can use the Master Rune.
But you can... Yes. It's going to get countered, I think, though.
But I think I would fight this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Swinging for 10, putting him at 3. Any damage he draws is game.
Right.
So, all right. Ryuichi's at 300. And at this point, I think you almost have to spend your Hanzo.
All right, he's going to kill Magician of Molding.
Yep, that's fine. At this point, there's...
I don't think he has any other resonators in his hand.
Yep,
Okay,
the
so
trade
he's gonna
Hanzos. Yep. And
I think he's gonna kill it if he blocks.
Yeah,
Well,
of
he's gonna
course,
kill
of
it either
course.
way,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
he's got the like. What's interesting here is Ryuichi's hand is super reactive.
Right.
So once the threats are off the board, oh, he's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
There's no trick that can come out of
No.
Zimon right now.
no, and the Hanzos die. So they're going back to kind of square one here. Being 300 life.
All right, so Zimon's on top deck mode. Let's see what he draws.
I mean, anything.
What was that? It was red.
It looked. Oh, that might have been a burn spell, but there's.
Ooh.
I can't imagine that will open isn't super
So
telegraphing.
he passed the turn, so it wasn't a burn spell, I don't think.
It might have been.
Uh,
It just knowing that he's not going to resolve it right now.
well, how does he know he has a counter spell?
Green,
Okay.
color open, and I think that's a fairly telegraphed play. I think that he knows that he's going to need multiple threats in a turn, so he has to deal with Chunoku.
Right.
He has to deal every single card that Zimon plays. Ryuichi has to deal with.
His one drop is threatening lethal.
Yes, so he's going to spend 4 will.
He's going to spend 4 will to dig a card. And we'll see what he does from there.
Oh, he's going to look for the green spells. And I believe he just bricked on that.
Oh, boy.
Wow, that's
That's tough.
that feels bad a little bit.
Wow, what are the odds of that?
He does have a pretty black heavy deck, so all right, he had again a card that does not actually put any pressure on
Yeah,
board.
so before untap, kill it.
Yep.
Untap. All right.
Yep. So, but again,
I don't think that does anything with no resonator.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is Ryuichi's hand is completely reactive, whereas I'm pretty sure that Zimon's gonna just kind of slowly drip out everything he plays is lethal.
He has to counter everything. He just can't keep countering forever. Yeah.
Yeah. You're paying 4. He's played 4 2 times in a row to deal with 1 drops, and I can almost guarantee you the last card in his hand is burn.
Right.
He knows that he needs. All right, and again, this is not a card that's particularly threatening.
Right. That's the Cat Ninja Scout.
Yeah, Cat Ninja Scout. I mean, it's going to get in for damage, but.
So another card that needs to be answered.
Yep.
Yes. There we go.
Counterspell. And at this point, I would start counting to see how many counterspells he has, because, I mean, we're getting to that point in the game where, all right, 3 damage, yep.
He's got a long way to go.
He's got to be looking at his hand like, how many cards do you have left?
He's got a magic boomerang.
As soon as he gets 2 burn spells in hand, I think he's going to fire them both off. So, all right, Toad.
Is he going to respond to this? Okay,
Yep.
so he's going to use that.
All
I think
right.
he has a counter left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Would he just put another card in his hand?
He drew for turn.
Oh, okay. Oh, they passed the turn. Okay.
Yeah, when you're in top deck mode, the game
Goes
gets
by
fast,
pretty
really
quick.
fast. Yeah. Just top deck. Okay.
Yeah,
go.
draw card. Oh, and here we go.
Okay.
Here's a big threat. This does.
Zimon's
need-
just like, that resolves.
Yeah, like oh. And there's an end of turn, so it's going to be attacking.
Ooh.
So it looks like he's just trying to load up on threats here, so that he can potentially with 300 damage. All right, so what do we got? 3. Lemuria.
Okay.
All right.
Spells
Something-
from the sideboard.
Okay, yep. And Karuta does not have protection from resonators. So
It's going to come in with 4. Wait, what's
4
this?
counters, yep.
So we have a rune coming out from Ryuichi.
I believe they're fighting over it.
All right. Yeah, so it got countered.
Yep.
Oh, so it was the remove from game.
oh.
The Spirited Away.
Yep.
No? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, swing 15.
12.
12? Okay, it's 12.
Oh, 15 total.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah. 19 to 300.
All right, another Lemuria.
All right.
Yeah, I think he swung the game back. I mean,
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ryuichi has the counter spell. Like I almost think we've used up all 3, right?
I'm not sure. Okay, wait. What is this here we're seeing? Oh, that's the.
Is that plus 400?
That's plus 400. I think he's just saying the game's over.
What is he doing?
He's going to
Count
count.
it
Okay,
off.
He says the game's over.
All right.
Cancel his own.
Yeah, cancel his own cards. All right.
That was style. All right.
Looking for 300 damage. Boom. All right. Nice game, guys. So, here, you want to bring it back to us for a sec?
The game's over.
Green black.
Green black.
So,